Hi, welcome to Skanda Happy Learning. So far, we have discussed the typical plant cell and animal cell, the differences between plant cell and animal cell. Now, let us discuss the cell membrane. The cell membrane is the outermost membrane in animal cell, but in plant cell, there is extra membrane around the cell membrane that is called cell wall. In case of plant cell wall is the outermost membrane. In case of animal cell, the cell membrane is the outermost membrane. Now, let us observe the cell membrane by doing one of the activity. Take a Rio leaf, tear it in single stroke. We will find out a white color transparent membrane. Carefully collect it, place it on a slide, observe it under the microscope. We will see, so the cells which are appear like this in the peel of the Rio leaf. Then on the same peel, just add few drops of salt solution. We'll observe. So when we add salt solution, so here the cytoplasm in the cell, it gets shrinking, and the plasma membrane, nothing but cell membrane, which is separated from the cell wall. So the cell membrane, it is a flexible membrane. Flexible membrane. It is present in both plant cell and animal cell. It is made up of lipids and proteins. Lipids and proteins. If you observe the cell membrane, the functions of the cell membrane, what are the major functions of the cell membrane? Cell membrane, it gives shape and size to the cell. Shape and size to the cell. If there is no cell membrane, the cell, it doesn't have any shape. The shape of the cell, that is depend on cell membrane. Then next to the cell membrane, if you observe the cell, say for example this is cell, it is cytoplasm. Then next to this is nucleus. So here the cytoplasm of the cell is separated by cell membrane from the external environment. See here, the cytoplasm, it is separated from the external environment with the help of the cell membrane. That is the major function. See here, the environment of the external cell and environment of the internal cell are completely different. See here, the maintaining the balance between the external environment of the cell and internal environment of the cell, that is maintained by cell membrane. Then next to the cell membrane is just allow only selected materials. The which materials are essential to the cell to carry different kinds of metabolic activities. Just it allow only selected materials. That is the reason. So the cell membrane is also known as selective permeable membrane. Selective permeable membrane. Why it is called a selective permeable membrane? Because of it allow only selected materials. The materials are exchanging. Materials are exchanging. Which materials are entry, which materials are exit, that is decided by cell membrane. Okay? It is not allow all the materials. It is work like a security guard. Is the security guard allow all the persons into the house? No. Just he allow only the well-known persons. Like the same, here the cell membrane is also allow useful materials. That is the reason it is called selective permeable membrane. So, cell membrane, it gives shape and size to the cell. Then next to, so it separate the cell membrane, it separate the cytoplasm from the external environment. Why? The conditions are different. Here it is maintaining balancing between internal and external environment. And also it allow only selected materials. That is the reason it is called selective permeable membrane. The cell membrane is also known as plasma membrane. The plasma membrane. Cell membrane or plasma membrane or selective permeable membrane. Now let's discuss the cell wall. Cell wall. The cell wall is the outermost membrane in animal cell. The cell wall is the outermost membrane in plant cell. In case of animal cell, there is no cell wall. The cell wall is made up of a special kind of carbohydrate called cellulose. The cell wall is made up of a cellulose. But what is the major function of this cell wall? It gives strength and support to the plant body. It gives strength and support to the cell. But earlier the people believed that the cell wall is inactive, but later just it is significant. It is important function done by the cell wall during growth and development. During growth and development of the organisms, the cell it's helpful exchange the information from one cell to another cell. That is the major function done by cell wall. And also the major function done by the cell wall is, if you observe the cell, so here this is cell cytoplasm. Inside the cytoplasm there is a nucleus. The cell sap which is present in the cell, it exerts outward pressure. Like the same, the cell wall it exerts inward pressure, means balancing. It exerts inward pressure. The cell sap try to exert outward pressure, but the cell wall it exerts inward pressure and it give a definite shape, isn't it? So these are the major functions done by the cell wall. The next, cytoplasm. What is cytoplasm? Cytoplasm is nothing but it is a fluid matrix which is present in the cell. Say for example, this is a cell. So here this is a fluid part of the cell is nothing but a cytoplasm. This cytoplasm, it has the two major important parts. One is cytosol and the second one is cell organelles. These two parts are present in the cytoplasm. What is cytosol? The cytosol is nothing but, so it is a liquid part of the cytoplasm. Liquid part of the cytoplasm is called cytoplasm. So mostly it has 90% of the water. The cytosol it has water. Along with the water, some useful ions, glucose, vitamins, lipids, proteins and carbohydrates and dissolved gases, which are all present in the cytoplasm, which is essential to carry the metabolic activities in cell. The next, cell organelles. If you observe the cytoplasm under the electron microscope, we can find out the granule-like structures which are present here and there. These granule-like structures are called cell organelles. These cell organelles carry different kinds of functions. If you observe in eukaryotes, these cell organelles are enclosed by a special membrane. The content which is present in the cell organelle and the content which is present in the cytoplasm, both are separate. In case of eukaryotes, so here the cell organelles are enclosed by the membranes, isn't it? Eukaryotes means the organisms which have membrane bound nucleus are called eukaryotes. So this is about the cytoplasm. Now let's discuss the important part is nucleus. Nucleus is the largest component of the cell. Among all parts of the cell. If you observe the nucleus clearly, just collect the scrap from the cheek. Now let's observe the nucleus by following activity. So take a spoon, collect the scrap from your cheek, then place it in a watch glass, it having saline. The collect sample of scrap, place it on a slide, add methylene blue. Just leave it a couple of minutes. Then the next add glycerin to avoid drying. So cover it with a cover slip, press it with the help of a blunt needle. Then if is there extra amount of stain, just removing by using a blotting paper. Observe it under the microscope. Will observe the nucleus is appear. The nucleus is appear. Where is the nucleus? Nucleus is center. The nucleus is center in animal cell, but in plant cell, the nucleus is shifted to peripheral. Why? Because there is a huge size of the vacuole in plant cell. It occupies most of the space. That is the reason it is shifted to peripheral in plant cell, but in case of animal cell, the nucleus is center. If you observe the nucleus, clearly it has some parts, the nuclear membrane, the next to nucleoplasm, chromatin fiber, nuclear pore and nucleolus. So first one, nuclear membrane. What is nuclear membrane? The nucleus is made up of two membranes. If you observe the nuclear membrane, the outer membrane, it has some granule-like structures. These granule-like structures called ribosomes, which are helpful in the preparation of proteins. The next to the outer membrane, we see there is a network stretch system, its formation. This network system is nothing but endoplasmic reticulum. If you observe the nuclear membrane, here and there, it leaves some gaps, that is called nuclear pore. What is the use of this nuclear pore? The nuclear pore, it is helpful exchange the information from cytoplasm to nucleoplasm. The materials are exchanging, materials are transported between the nucleoplasm and cytoplasm. So with the help of the nuclear pore. Then next to nucleoplasm. What is nucleoplasm? The fluid which is present in the cell is called cytoplasm. The fluid which is present in the nucleus is called nucleoplasm. So both are different. Cytoplasm and nucleoplasm, both are different, isn't it? Then next to, we can find out there is a round oval shaped structure called nucleolus. These nucleolus, so one or two nucleolus are present in the nucleus. This nucleus is made up of RNA. RNA stands for ribonucleic acid and proteins. Then next, and also we can see the interwoven thread-like structures. These interwoven thread-like structures are called chromatin fibers. Chromatin fibers, during the process of cell division, these chromatin fibers are converted into chromosomes. These chromosomes carry genetic information which is passed from one generation to another generation. The nucleus is known as cell control room. Cell control room. Why it is called cell control room? The activities of the cell are under the control of the nucleus. So that is the reason the nucleus is known as cell control room. It is discovered by Robert Brown in the year 1831. Remaining topics like cell organelles, will be discussed in part 3. Please do subscribe, like, share and comment. Thank you.